Welcome to 50 Photos, where every picture tells a forgotten story. If you love history, like this video and subscribe.
Americans gathered around the body of John Dillinger, the bank robber, witnessed an important event in the country's history. Dillinger, known as Public Enemy Number 1 by the FBI in the 1930s, was not only a criminal, but also a fan of Ford cars. He even sent a thank you letter to Henry Ford, noting that quality cars helped him evade the police. John Roy, at the presentation of the Dutch edition of the Guinness World Records in 1977, showcases his unusual long mustache. This moment became not only a curiosity, but also a symbol of human eccentricity, demonstrating how far people are willing to go for uniqueness and attention. The photograph of the RB-45 reconnaissance aircraft in 1951 shows panoramic cameras and lenses laid out on the ground used during flights. These technologies allowed for the collection of vital information necessary for military operations and became an important part of aerial reconnaissance. Recovering soldiers in gauze masks watching a movie in 1919 in the USA became a symbol of hope and restoration. In the aftermath of the war, entertainment and the chance to escape from the horrors of war became an important part of returning to normal existence. In Beirut, Lebanon, in 1983, a man sells goldfish in water-filled bags tied to the branches of a tree. This unusual trade attracts the attention of passers-by, creating an atmosphere of coziness and simplicity of life. Amid the hustle and bustle of the city, such moments remind us of small joys and that beauty can be found everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. During the Spanish flu pandemic in California in 1918, authorities urged, "Wear a mask or go to jail." This strict measure emphasized the seriousness of the situation and the need to adhere to regulations to protect public health. Every citizen was required to contribute to the fight against the virus. The natives of Nukuhiva in 1907 posed for a photograph with a gramophone on the largest island of the Marquesas archipelago. This snapshot captured the moment when traditional culture confronted new technologies, creating a unique cultural context. Boxer Raymond Johnston sparred with a Mustang in Los Angeles in 1926. This unique event showcases how unusual training and sparring can become part of a boxer's preparation. The Mustang, a powerful and graceful animal, became not only an opponent, but also a symbol of the strength and endurance needed in boxing. During the Falklands War in 1982, a British soldier picks up the helmets of Argentine servicemen after the Battle of Goose Green. This moment embodies the tragedy of war and human loss, as well as illustrating how conflict affects the lives of people on both sides. War leaves deep scars, and such images remind us of the importance of peace and reconciliation. In this historical photograph, we see a cyclist skillfully maneuvering his two-wheeled friend towing an Airstream travel trailer. These trailers, known for their distinctive design and durable construction, have become a symbol of the freedom of travel in post-war America. The year is 1947, a time when the desire for new adventures and the exploration of new horizons was particularly relevant. This shot captured the spirit of an era when people sought active recreation and exploration of their country by bicycle, while Airstream trailers served as reliable companions on their journeys. In 1938, U.S. World War I veterans became involved in a brawl with American Nazis during the celebration of Hitler's birthday. The odds were 1 to 35 in favor of the Nazis, but the veterans did not back down. This conflict was not only a clash of ideologies, but also a symbol of courage and resistance in difficult times. During the Spanish flu pandemic in the United States in 1918, fashionistas preferred to wrap their faces in thin scarves, as regular masks did not satisfy them. This reflects not only a desire for style, but also the unusual methods of protection that women chose during those difficult times. Girls in Japan in 1919 were going to school protecting themselves from the Spanish flu with gauze masks. This image symbolizes childhood innocence and the need to adapt to new living conditions when colds and flu became a real health threat. Girls in the United States in 1927 are walking pet ducks in a horse trough. This touching moment reflected the simple joys of childhood and the bond between people and nature. In a rapidly changing world, such moments became increasingly precious. Children living in a refugee camp in Hong Kong in 1964 curiously watch former US Vice President Nixon as he demonstrates his badminton skills to them. This scene is filled with innocence and hope, as even in the midst of harsh living conditions, children yearn for games and simple joys. Before we continue, I'd like to give you a recommendation. Our team has created a tool for restoring old photos in poor condition, those with scratches, tears, blurriness, or low resolution. With Restory.online, simply upload an image to improve its quality, restore lost details, and breathe new life into it using the latest technology. The interface is simple, processing takes very little time, and the results can sometimes reveal details that were almost invisible in the original photo. If you want to restore your own memories or bring old family photos back to life, visit Restory.online. Link in the description. Now, back to our story. Women learned to drive trams to replace men who went to the front during World War I. It was a time when each of them understood the importance of their role. In the UK of 1915, they not only mastered new skills, but also fought for equality, showing that they could perform any job that was previously considered exclusively male. An improvised hospital in Brooklyn opened in 1918 to treat patients suffering from the Spanish flu, when regular hospitals could not cope with the influx of patients. This place became a symbol of the drive to save lives in a crisis, where every minute could be crucial for recovery. An Indian elephant from the Hamburg Zoo was helping German soldiers clear debris in the French town of Valenciennes in 1915. This valiant and unusual helper became a symbol of hope amidst the destruction, demonstrating how animals can be loyal allies even in the toughest of times. In 1965, a cycling race of the Giro d'Italia took place at a mountain pass, and one of the Italian cyclists was overcoming snowy obstacles. This challenge required not only physical strength, but also great courage. The cyclists battled against the natural conditions, demonstrating their dedication to their beloved sport and their determination to win, despite all the difficulties. In Paris in 1910, a casting call takes place to select a new model for one of the most prestigious fashion houses. Models, dressed in magnificent outfits, walk the runway, showcasing elegance and style. Each girl hopes to become the face of this fashion house and win the hearts of the audience, as well as the opportunities opening up in the world of haute couture. The cemetery of 7,000 airplanes left over from World War II has become a symbol of the post-war era and immense losses. These machines, once formidable and powerful, now rest on the ground in Arizona. In 1946, their fate was sealed, and they were abandoned here, serving as a reminder of the sacrifices made for victory. At the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, Police Sergeant William Desmond presented a collection of equipment from various robbers and criminal curiosities. Each exhibit told its own story, immersing viewers in a world of crime and law enforcement that was becoming increasingly complex and multifaceted during that time. The shipwreck of the Arden Craig occurred in 1911 off the coast of Great Britain due to dense fog. The vessel lost its course and collided with an underwater rock. This tragic event serves as a reminder of how dangerous sea voyages can be under poor visibility conditions, and the necessity of adhering to safety measures on the water. A museum curator in the US in 1968 meticulously measures the taxidermy of a coelacanth, a fish believed to have been extinct for 65 million years. This discovery, made in 1938, shocked the scientific world. The coelacanth became a symbol of hope for biologists, opening new horizons in the study of evolution and the origins of vertebrates. The Communist March in New York City in 1935 became a landmark event, symbolizing the struggle for workers' rights. In the heart of the city, thousands of people took to the streets to voice their demands. This action demonstrated the strength of the labor movement and its influence on society during challenging times. The mass prayer in San Francisco in 1918 during the Spanish flu pandemic became a symbol of hope and unity. During this period, the virus claimed millions of lives worldwide. People gathered together to support each other in an unprecedented tragedy, realizing that only through collective efforts could they overcome the disaster. In Belgium in 1918, Red Cross nurses, anticipating a gas attack, assisted soldiers suffering from the Spanish flu. Wearing gas masks and amidst the war, they cared for the health and lives of the fighters, demonstrating that even in the darkest of times, humanity and compassion remain vital. In 1919, nurses at the Boston City Hospital were forced to wear anti-epidemic masks. With the spread of infections, their work became more dangerous and responsible. These women displayed incredible courage, saving lives and supporting patients during difficult times. Swedish minister Olof Palme in 1968 is seen relaxing with a worker on a construction site in Stockholm. This photograph illustrates how authorities interact with ordinary people, emphasizing the importance of social justice and the involvement of public figures in the real lives of citizens. An international IWW Union rally in New York City, USA, in 1914 took place against the backdrop of the fashionable boater hats. Workers protested against US involvement in World War I, leading to a fierce confrontation with authorities. This moment became a significant milestone in the history of the labor movement. Molotov and Roosevelt are negotiating in the White House in 1942. Molotov's secret flight on a P-8 bomber to the United Kingdom and then to the United States, was a significant step in diplomatic relations. The risk was enormous, as the crew had to use oxygen apparatus at high altitudes, but it was necessary to strengthen alliances. Nuns at the Ladywell Monastery in England in 1965 played basketball, demonstrating an unusual combination of a strict lifestyle and active participation in sports. This photo shows how even in religious institutions, women sought opportunities for physical activity. Madison Square Garden was transformed in 1921 into a luxurious indoor swimming pool accessible to all. This event symbolized changes in public leisure as popular places became more available to the masses. The pool became a focal point for New Yorkers, offering them relaxation and entertainment in the heart of the city. At the Winter Games in Innsbruck, Austria in 1976, German lugers showcased their new modern helmets. These helmets are not only stylish, but also enhance the safety of the athletes. The atmosphere of the competition is filled with excitement and the spirit of rivalry, while spectators eagerly await the results of the races, hoping for the victory of their favorites. The photograph of one of the first limousines taken in Paris in 1910 captures the beginning of a new era in automotive design. This luxurious automobile was a symbol of status and opulence, and its elegant lines and finish drew the attention of everyone on the streets of the city. A line of British soldiers, blinded by tear gas, stands at a dressing station near Bethune in 1918. This devastating weapon left deep scars in the memories of soldiers and their loved ones. The war, which takes lives and health, demonstrated how cruel and inhumane modern battle can be, leaving behind only suffering. In 1951, Taiwan celebrated Army Day, and this parade became a vivid event in the life of the country. Thousands of people took to the streets to demonstrate their loyalty to the army and national values. The noise, music, and military equipment created an atmosphere of pride and unity among the people. The outdoor barbershop in California emerged in 1919 as a response to the Spanish flu epidemic. This innovation allowed people to maintain hygiene and care for their appearance while minimizing the risk of infection. In the context of a pandemic, such measures were vital for the health of the population. In 1968, the first demonstration of computer mouse usage took place in the United States. Inventor Douglas Engelbart and his team presented an interface that looked like science fiction. They showed how to work with hypertext and collaboratively edit documents, anticipating the future of computer technology and interaction. In 1949, in Glastonbury, Connecticut, the police began testing a police radar system. This device, implemented in 1947, became revolutionary in the fight against traffic violations, allowing for the recording of speeding offenses and enhancing road safety. The first holder of the Stanley Cup was the Montreal AAA team in 1894. This trophy, established to determine the strongest team in hockey, became a symbol of victory and achievement. Since then, the Stanley Cup has become an integral part of hockey culture, and its history is full of bright moments and great teams striving for the ultimate prize. Teenagers selling fresh newspapers near the Brooklyn Bridge in New York in 1908 symbolized the spirit of youth and entrepreneurship. These young merchants seek to earn money by offering current information, showing how, even at a young age, one can be an active participant in urban life. the raising of the flag at the morning assembly in the women's labor camp of the Imperial Labor Service in Baden in 1940 symbolizes the strength and unity of women who, during this difficult time for the country, sought to contribute to the common cause. This moment captured the spirit of the era, when each of them was ready to work for the good of the nation, despite the challenging conditions they faced. Firefighters in Germany in 1940 are undergoing training aimed at teaching them how to detect the source of sounds while blindfolded. These crucial skills assist them in real situations where every moment can be critical for saving lives and preventing disasters. At the Futurama exhibition in New York in 1939, visitors enthusiastically admire unique models representing the future. This event became a true symbol of its time, showcasing the hopes and dreams of people for progress and new technologies. The air is filled with a spirit of optimism, and each model sparks lively discussions and admiration among the spectators. In 1940, a postman in the United Kingdom showed remarkable persistence when he delivered a letter to the address written on the envelope. Despite the lack of clear directions, his efforts were rewarded, and the recipient was found. This case became an example of dedication to duty and the importance of human communication, even in difficult times. Transparent buses, created by French architect Félix Oblet in 1953, became a true innovation for Sofil, a company engaged in yarn and clothing production. These unusual vehicles attracted attention with their originality and became a symbol of progress in design and functionality. At the factory in Cupertino in 1984, workers assembled Apple motherboards, marking the beginning of a new era in technology. This work required high skill and attention to detail, as the quality of assembly determined the company's reputation. It was here that the foundations for future revolutionary changes in the computing world were laid. The traffic light tower in Berlin, established in 1924, became one of the first examples of traffic regulation. At that time, traffic lights were just beginning to be implemented in urban infrastructure, and their design was quite diverse. This tower had 4 colors: white, red, green, and blue, making it unique in its kind and symbolizing a transition to more organized movement on the streets. The service at the Cathedral of St. Mary in San Francisco in 1918 took place on the steps to protect the congregation from the virus. This unusual decision became a symbol of the time when religious ceremonies and public life adapted to the new challenges imposed by the pandemic. Soldiers at Camp Dix, New Jersey, USA, in 1918 are gargling with salt water as a preventive measure against the Spanish flu. This process became a part of the fight against the disease at a time when medicine did not yet have effective solutions for combating the pandemic. Allied soldiers resting in a tent in Italy in 1944 became a living example of bravery and resilience. Despite the injuries sustained from shrapnel, they sought moments of peace and brotherhood. This scene reflects the hardships of war and the necessity of supporting each other in tough times. San Francisco court hearings in 1918 took place outdoors to minimize the risk of spreading infection during the pandemic. This decision became a necessary step at a time when public places were becoming dangerous. The judicial system, adapting to new realities, continued to function despite all the difficulties. Against the backdrop of the destruction of Yugoslavia in 1999, an unusual and symbolic event took place: dancing on a downed F-117 bomber near Bujanovci. This event became a manifestation of the people's spirit, who, despite the difficulties, showed resilience and humor in the most challenging situations. Such moments emphasize the human ability to find bright spots even in the darkest times. London, 1920. Telephone operators gargle during the Spanish flu pandemic, believing it will help avoid infection. The epidemic has swept the world, and simple precautions like gargling have become part of everyday life. These women, on the front lines of communication, continued to work despite the threat of illness. The terminal of the main post office in New York City, USA, in 1914 showcases the scale of pneumatic mail usage. At that time, Paris had 440 kilometers of pipes laid, while in New York, letters were sent in containers weighing 9 kilograms, highlighting the technological progress of that era. The cleanup at the New York Stock Exchange after the trading day ended in 1938 demonstrates the importance of order and discipline in the financial world. Workers are laboring to restore the exchange to normalcy as life in the country's economy unfolds amid numerous transactions and stocks. French flamethrowers were conducting a cleanup in a village in the spring of 1918, where battles had left nothing but ruins. Surviving Germans were hiding in basements, and the flamethrowers, armed with pistols, were ready to act at close range. This was a terrifying time during World War I, when life and death were decided in the blink of an eye. In 1918, a part of a captured German submarine appeared on the streets of New York. This event became a symbol of victory and triumph over the enemy in World War I. The city took immense pride in its achievements, and such exhibits served as a reminder that the struggle for freedom requires sacrifices and the world must cherish its history. A photograph of Che Guevara with Bolivian soldiers before his execution in 1967 captured the moment when Sergeant Mario Terán, seeking revenge for his friends, agreed to become the executioner. The CIA's order on how to properly present this story forever changed the perception of Guevara as a revolutionary and martyr. In 1918, officials inspect garbage collectors in the United States during the Spanish flu pandemic. This time became a real test for the country. In Chicago, 8,510 people died from the flu, and the total number of deaths in the U.S. reached 675. Worldwide, the pandemic claimed the lives of approximately 41 million people. Members of the Women's Machine Gun Section of the Police Reserve during training in New York in 1918 represent a new era. Women who were once limited in their opportunities were now trained in military affairs and ready to defend their cities, demonstrating determination and courage. In Washington, 1977, during President Carter's speech, the Shah of Iran wipes away tears caused by tear gas. This moment became a symbol of the complex relationship between the US and Iran. The situation escalated, and amidst political tension, the Shah's tears and emotions reflect his inner struggle and concern for the future of his country. In 1938, the United States introduced an experimental receiver transmitter for military communication that featured an original design. The bubble, made of transparent plastic, served not only as protection but also functioned as a helmet in the event of a gas attack. This device marked an important step in the development of communication and safety technologies in the army, reflecting the desire to protect soldiers against modern threats. The Japanese Special Naval Landing Forces, clad in gas masks and rubber gloves, prepare to carry out their mission during a chemical attack in the Battle for Shanghai in 1945. This is one of those moments when war reveals its brutal nature, and soldiers are forced to defend themselves against an invisible threat that could be devastating to their health and lives.